Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. We are very excited to bring you our interview with the Power Over Parkinson's organization. They do some really amazing things in their community, and we just wanted to help spread the word. So you'll notice in the description and on the blog post itself that we have all the links to get in touch with them and interact with them and even utilize their services. And maybe most importantly, for people that want to contribute, we have the donate button and the donate link for their organization in the post and in the description. We highly recommend you donate to them. They do some amazing things and offer some things at no cost for their community and are really making a difference in the Parkinson's community. So we hope you enjoy. Please take some time to look at the links provided and engage and interact and hopefully even donate to them once you're done watching the interview.
But
Thanks so much.
thank you again so much for joining me. Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of what Power Over Parkinson's is?
So I'm Margaret Preston, president of Power Over Parkinson's, and we started the foundation about 6 years ago after my own father's diagnosed with Parkinson's right here in Richmond, Virginia. So when he was diagnosed, we didn't find that soft place to land and just kind of the community resources that are so imperative to managing the disease. So we put our heads together and started Power Over Parkinson's, or POP, to serve the community right here in Richmond. And we do that through socialization, exercise, education, supporting research right here at VCU Health. So we try to serve the patient in a holistic way, to kind of serve them in a myriad of ways as well, to ensure that they have a trusted resource and soft place to land upon diagnosis.
That's terrific. So how do people normally find you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, as I noted, we do work closely with VCU Health on a lot of programming. So, with their Parkinson's and Movement Disorder Center, they have a wonderful team of movement disorder specialists. And we have worked with them to get our literature and all that great paper that folks can take home after their appointment. We work with some of the other physical therapy shops around town to kind of let them know we're here and folks can lean on us for exercise, education. Everything we do is free. So we really tried to find the patient where they are at either a movement disorder specialist or PT, OT, because I think that's how folks really can ascertain some like trusted information and trusted sources. So we've kind of tried to meet them where they are so folks can find out about Power Over Parkinson's. And we try to not only connect with them via the doctors, OTPTs, but of course we try to do everything electronically. We have newsletters, social media, and just try to go in all different mirrors.
So I know you have in-person and online opportunities for people. What kind of stuff do you do in person?
Yeah. So our in-person program, we have a myriad of in-person programming, but I like to call our exercise program our bread and butter, because it's the most robust program we have. It's been expanding since we started it about 4 years ago. We offer right now 11 free classes around Henrico County, Chesterfield County. So what you would consider Central Virginia, really. So we've got 11 free classes all hour long, using different modalities for people with Parkinson's and their care partners. So fortunately, everything we do, care partners are welcome. They are also welcome to deliver their loved one with Parkinson's and go work out. We operate out of Gold's Gym, so they have access. A wonderful benefit we have with our relationship with Gold's Gym is allowing care partners to go kind of have their brain break an hour to kind of go do their own thing, which is fantastic too. But some care partners come and join us as well. So our in-person exercise program is really, to me, where the magic happens, because not only we're doing that imperative exercise, but we're also forming relationships and friendships, which
Yeah, the
we've seen
community.
over the years form, which is so important. We've seen folks become friends, go out to dinner, end up doing social activities together. And it really, exercise kind of brings folks out, but I think like friendships bring folks out
Yeah,
and keep
for
people coming
sure.
to exercise every day or every couple days throughout the week. So our in-person programming as it relates to exercise is to us, something we're really proud of because it is free to all folks with Parkinson's and their care partners. So we know the disease and chronic disease is expensive enough. So we're passionate about keeping our exercise program free because it's imperative. Folks have to exercise to really mitigate the symptoms and hopefully slow the progression of the disease. So making it free and kind of having it one less thing, hopeful or financial item folks need to worry about is an honor, and we're proud to do it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And then, what do you have online? Like, what resources do you have available there?
Yeah. So I think, we started, and then shortly after a year or two, COVID started. So all
Right.
of our online resources really are a product of COVID, but they've sustained.
Uh-huh.
So that's when we created our YouTube channel and have online exercise resources that we continue to add to. We have a 6-part yoga program. So our bucket of online exercise programs is robust on our channel. And we thank COVID for that. But we also started an interview series as a result of COVID and just trying to remain connected with folks during that time. But we continue to add to that interview series today, in addition to having our in-person education program. So we do conduct these interviews with really great neurologists around the country, PTs, OTs, our speech folks, and then we also highlight patient stories. So we've interviewed a handful, if not more, of patients who are advocates and willing to share their stories and inspire others. So our YouTube channel, our online resources is robust and twofold in that we're trying to continue to add and provide online exercise opportunities, as well as provide trusted educational material as well.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. We can thank COVID for that.
Yeah, we all had, unfortunately, a bit more time on our hands than
We
I
all
think
pivoted.
many
Yep.
of us expected. So, well,
Absolutely.
that's great. And so then you're a 501c3, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what is the easiest way for people to donate to you? And
Yeah, that's a great question. So we make it pretty easy on our website, as most nonprofits do. We've got a big donate button,
Mhm.
and that is, any donation as small as it can be is appreciated and impactful. So all of our the dollars donated and the dollars raised goes directly to people with Parkinson's and their care partners, and we say that. Because as I said in the beginning, my father and I created Power Over Parkinson's as a result of his diagnosis, but we're just volunteers. So we're
Mhm.
proud to say we don't receive a paycheck. We're just doing this because it's the right thing to do. And we were motivated, and it's turning lemons into lemonade. So we're proud to say our overhead is minimal, and we can really provide a lot on every dollar to people with Parkinson's in Central Virginia.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you guys ever do any like events, donation events, and or
Yeah.
fundraisers and stuff like that?
Yeah, so our biggest fundraiser of the year is our golf tournament. We just completed year 5 last September.
Okay.
So we had a few months off, and anybody who plans golf tournaments know, like, we're starting to plan it again, even though it's
Yeah.
9 months away. That's our biggest fundraiser. It's a fantastic event. We do it in Glen Allen, Virginia. We've got a full slate of 144 golfers and fantastic sponsors. So fortunately, that event continues to grow, and it has become our biggest fundraiser, and really how we execute a large portion of what we do is attributed to the golf tournament.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so fun. I'm glad that that's gone so well for you. And
Thank
5
you.
years is great. And
Yeah, yeah. Anybody who's planned a tournament, it's a labor of love.
mm,
And once you finally get to the day, it's just a lot of fun, and a lot of fun for what is eventually a local cause, since we're right here in Central Virginia. So it ended up being pretty impactful, and it's growing, like I said, each year. So it's great to be able to turn those dollars right back into the community.
yeah. Well, and a fun way to do it too, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I guess that
Absolutely.
enjoy things.
Yeah.
Um, so what are the big goals for 2025?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. As I reflect on the last 6 years or so running the foundation, I think we've really gotten our feet planted. We have sustainable programming. We've served the patient through exercise, education, socialization, I think about some of the areas that we haven't delved into, one of which is advocacy. So our goals and plans is to kind of really create more a bigger program as it relates to advocacy and connecting with local state lawmakers to create awareness about the disease. So we're excited. Next month, we're going to go to the state capitol and
Oh,
have
wow.
a first ever Parkinson Advocacy Day. So we've rallied patients around the state to come and be able to talk with their delegates and then ultimately be within the gallery and introduced for our first ever Parkinson's Advocacy Day here in Virginia. So we're really excited about that as a foundation because it has to be done. You know, I think about why am I passionate about advocacy? I think back before my father's diagnosis, I think we all kind of just think of Parkinson's as older folks who got it and it's a tremor. But as we've been in the Parkinson's business, we know it's so much more than a tremor. And because I know firsthand of my misconception of the disease, I think that's why I'm becoming more and more passionate about creating awareness and education, particularly those who aren't impacted by the disease, because we know it's just increasing as the fastest rising
Right.
neurological disorder. I think it's important to educate those people who aren't even touched by it yet, because perhaps one day they might be, or they can understand so much more about the disease and kind of have aha moments and potentially rally around the cause to affect change.
Yeah, that's so great and fantastic.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
It's it's hard. You got to knock on a lot of doors. You got to kind of be a pest to
Yeah,
lawmakers, but it's important because I think there's a lot of personally, I know there's a lot of misconceptions about the disease, and people don't realize how complex it is. It's so much more than a tremor. We have all of the myriad of non-motor symptoms that folks aren't aware
oh,
of.
for
So I
sure.
think education, particularly as it relates to those folks who aren't impacted by the disease and lawmakers, is critical.
Yeah, and I mean, we hear the same thing all the time. People just saying, well, like they can't see it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, sometimes you can, but
Yeah.
if all the non-motor stuff in
Mhm.
particular, and the feelings of isolation and depression
Mhm.
and all those kinds of things that
Yeah.
people just don't see, and so
Yeah.
they just have such a hard time, talking to people about it because
Yeah.
they just don't know. Um,
Absolutely. And we
just
think about folks being diagnosed earlier too. The face has changed to the disease and kind of getting for our state advocacy next month. We've got some of the early onset people coming because we want
Mhm.
them to be able to share their stories and they're not an anomaly anymore. So it's really great to be able to kind of create that awareness. And again, hopefully, some folks will have like kind of like that aha moment about Parkinson's and its impact on the community and the nation, really.
Yeah, well, and we talk about all the different treatments and things, and they always bring up that the primary medication is still the same medication from the
Oh, yeah.
60s,
Yes.
right? It's still
Yeah.
levodopa carbidopa. It is still the
Yeah.
same thing. They have all these
Mhm.
different types of medications that have been amazing and super
Mhm.
helpful that
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox and all of those guys have really
Mhm.
pushed on research. But at the end of the day, the primary medication is still the
Yeah.
exact same.
Right.
And
Right.
so,
And that's,
like,
I think we need to raise the red flag about. And I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Ray Dorsey and his book Ending Parkinson's. It's like we have to start kind of being a little bit louder
yeah,
because since Parkinson's is growing so fast, why are we still utilizing the same therapeutic from 50, 60 years ago?
right.
We've got to be a little bit louder and want more resources for this population.
Yeah, well, and I think even just the exercise part, you said that that's kind of your guys' bread and butter, and it's
Hmm.
one of the main focuses. And even that, as someone from the field, I can tell you is
Hmm.
not old. It's
Yeah.
not accepted necessarily all the
Yeah.
time. We have
Mhm.
so many people that still get the recommendation of, "Hey, here's your meds. I'll see you in a year,"
Mhm.
and it just they don't understand that there's this whole other big kind of portion
Yeah.
that is part of this.
Yeah.
And that end of things, I love how you guys include the caregivers because
Mhm.
one, the caregivers either need a break,
Mhm.
or it's just critical for them to see what these
Mhm.
guys are going through. We've had people that say, "Oh, my spouse came with me to do one of the classes
Mhm.
one time," and
Mhm.
realize how hard the class is.
Yes.
You
Oh
know, it,
yeah.
you weren't just sitting there doing some deep breathing. You
No.
guys were hustling. Like we had no idea
Yeah.
you were working this hard.
Yeah.
And so even the poor caregivers that are right there with them don't
Mhm.
realize sometimes, all the effort that goes into that. So
Yeah, everything they're doing. We think about we try to model our heat exercise classes off the premise of getting your heart rate up and
mhm.
utilizing that high intensity exercise. So we've kind of like tried to fill that bucket. But then we also have power moves, which is deceptively hard too, right?
Yes,
So we have some of our coaches are certified in power moves, and for the care partners to come in and see, while they're not weighted exercises per se, they're fast and big, so it's a new appreciation of what you said, the folks with Parkinson's and what they're doing to try to manage the disease. And I do think, to kind of dovetail on exercise, exercise is something that gives our population control, right? So
yeah,
we can of
absolutely.
course take our medication that our doctors prescribe. We go back in 6 to 12 months. But what are some of the things we can control? We can control if we get out and we move and how we move, and the class that we join. And I think it gives some people some control that, okay, I can have control over the disease.
Sure.
Exercise makes me feel better. It can potentially slow the disease, and that's something that like I can control in kind of an uncontrolled environment of Parkinson's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
We always try and stress that because we're like, this is, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to say it, there you do have a degree of control here,
Mhm. Mhm.
which I think is really fantastic. And it takes a
Mhm.
lot of work. It's really hard. It's not
Yeah.
straightforward. But
Yeah.
in a position where most people feel so lost and out of
Mhm.
control, this is actually an area where you do have some control, which is
Absolutely.
really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think, just if you can just ignore the Parkinson's for a second,
Mhm.
if the depression, anxiety, all those kinds of things was one of the best things for those, just
Mhm.
exercise.
Right.
Just had a massive study looking at how exercise is comparable to antidepressants.
Mhm.
And so, giving someone a fun environment,
Yeah.
community environment to go
Yeah.
exercise hard is so amazing. So
Yeah, absolutely. We find ourselves sometimes like, you don't want to get into pleading states, but sometimes we're pleading like, just join us. It's
right.
free. You got nothing to lose. Well, we say we refund you, but of course we don't have to because it's free. We are like, you have nothing to lose. You just want to tell them like, you'll feel better afterwards. Just trust us.
We
And
promise.
over the years, we've seen so many people say like, I do feel better. I'm so
Yeah.
glad I joined. And then you see the progression of that person. So for instance, we use some rowing machines during our heat exercise program, and we've had people who are hesitant to get on the rower or need a hand getting on and off the rower, and several months later they're getting on and off the rower just fine independently. So it's
Yeah.
really neat to see those changes, and they can see those changes and the benefits of exercise, because of course that just translates into their everyday life, to be able to maneuver in and out of car or whatever you need to do. So it's really, again, we try not to plead with folks, but we try to tell them like, really just give it a try and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna see the benefits of exercise.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
that's fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean, your community is very, very lucky to have that resource. So
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's been we've really tried to turn lemons into lemonade. It's been the silver lining of my dad's diagnosis, and it's been great to be able to serve the community, because they're amazing. They're great self advocates. They're appreciative. It's
yeah.
People with Parkinson's have so much tenacity, and it's a space that we're honored to be in.
Oh, that's